Hello, everybody. I hope all is well. I am Demetra K, and I am the host of the Demetra K Show, obviously, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, Big Giant, thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Hope that you are doing well. I'm not going to be here long. I always say that. And like an hour and 15 minutes later, I'm here. Plan to be here about a half an hour or so. But I came across something. Actually, I saw it yesterday. And, it kind of struck me as odd. And then I got to thinking about this topic today, which is Essence Magazine proves why old Black media, and I say old Black media because we have new Black media, which I belong to, basically should be shunned. And I'm going to show y'all why. And I think we've all kind of known this for a long time. Old Black media, Essence Magazine is one. BET is not even owned by Black people, but they try to, say that it is for Black people. And other things, I would even throw Roland Martin in there, and all those ilk of people in the media. And I'm going to show y'all and tell y'all why in just a minute. But I want to give everybody a chance to come on in before I get started. Roddy, how you doing? Says grew up reading Essence Magazine as a Gen Xer, but yes, they have lost their way a long time ago. Yeah, and I'm going to delve into a little bit of history of Essence Magazine. Some of you guys probably already are familiar with it, but it's also very telling, and you'll understand why in a minute. Greater Achievements, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mike Nice, hope you're having a great Monday afternoon. My brother Don Deere, triple OG moderator, hope you're doing well. And thank you so much to all the moderators and everything that you do. You guys do an awesome job of holding it down. Your average logical thinker, what is going on with you? Another great moderator and content creator. Y'all please go follow her, as she has a lot of wisdom and just talks about, everyday life and things like that. Very insightful. So go check her out on her channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do so already. Let's see. Tyrone, you said we in this thing. That's right. And welcome. G-Man, what's going on with you? Beverly White, hope you're doing well. Carrie, what's going on with you? Miss Tiffany. And Carrie says they are all owned by so-called white people now. Well, in essence, it was. But I'm going to get into that. Fat Son, how you doing? Yes, indeed. We got to support each other, your average logical thinker. So if y'all would please go over there and then subscribe, check her out. You guys will love her content as well. All right. So give everybody just another moment. Give you guys just a little bit of rundown of what I'm doing. So I'm here in Houston for the week, and then I'm going to be going back to California for some time. Then I'll be back and then I'll be stay put, if you will, for a while after that. I'm not leaving anymore after this month. I don't plan to anyway. I always say that. And then somebody say, you want to go here or you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I'm going to try to come here as much as I can while I am gone. So that's that on that. Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and get into it, and people will come on. Lady Diana, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. We'll have everybody catch up as soon as they come on. But anyway, I'm going to put this picture up, and you guys probably already saw the thumbnail. So I saw this yesterday, and y'all see I went to put the face palm emoji over Cardi B's, little whatever you want to call that. Anyway, so this is Essence Magazine. And they say sometimes your lick back is gaining peace and somebody who deserves your time. We're following Cardi B and Stephon Diggs down this Bodak Yellow brick road. And that was the name of her #1 breakout song, Bodak Yellow. And it says, and we'd love to see it. Now, this is not even really about Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. It's not. I don't care what they're doing at all. But just a little background. Basically, Cardi B, y'all know she was married to Offset. They're going through a nasty divorce, blah, blah, blah. Now, Stephon Diggs is some football player from somewhere, I don't know. And they've been having this big time public display of affection everywhere. And as y'all can see, they're on a yacht. And so I guess Essence is alluding that Cardi B may be getting some get back, if you will, on Offset. Because, again, they have a lot of back and forth going on. And so I guess they're trying to say, Stephon Diggs is the lick back, and she's trying to make Offset jealous or mad. I don't even know where they're going with it, but I'm like, wow, okay. Because I remember, hey Roz, I remember when Essence Magazine used to be classy, right? Now, just a little bit of history with Essence Magazine. It was created in 1970 by 4 Black men, okay? 4 Black American men. Edward Lewis, Clarence O. Smith, Jonathan Blunt, and Cecil Hollingsworth, right? 4 Black men. And they wanted to create it for what they said African American Black women. We now call ourselves Black American, but that was who they created it for, right? It was for beauty, entertainment, and fashion, right? There was some intellectual thought. There was, again, thought-provoking pieces in the magazine and things like that. I guess we could probably all say that our mothers, grandmothers, and I'm old enough to have, purchased an Essence magazine before. And I don't remember it being anything really classless. To me, this is classless. Not that Cardi B and Stephon, because I guess she posted or somebody else posted it on their page and they picked it up, they being Essence, and they thought they'd put this all over their social media, right? And of course, in the comment section, people, yeah, girl, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Essence didn't seem like it was divisive, okay, in 1970, right? Okay, so in 2000, Time Inc. purchased about 49% of the magazine, taking away the all-Black owned status from Essence Magazine, okay? Now, and then 2005, they purchased 51% of it, which kind of took away the status of it being Black owned, because now Time Magazine, or Time Inc. rather, which is a white owned, I guess, entity, they owned most of it. So they could no longer call it Black owned, but they still catered to Black women, I guess. And then in 2018, Richie Lou Dennis, who is Liberian, so he's a Black man from Liberia, he purchased it rather. And then from that point, really, from the time it was Black owned, it seemed like it really started to go downhill and start to get just a little bit ghetto, right? Now, he also, from what I understand, is the owner of Essence Jazz Festival that takes place in New Orleans throughout the summer, I think typically July and things like that. Now, it had an emphasis on jazz, right? Well, a lot of people started to complain, especially like in the last couple of years, because they're like, y'all got Megan Thee Stallion up here shaking all her naked behind and, just a whole bunch of degeneracy. A jazz festival, you want to see somebody like, Anita Baker, the jazz stuff, right? But it seemed like I think they even had Glorilla there one year. So people were like, wait a minute. I can't bring my aunties and my grandma, my daddy or whatever here, because we came to see some cool jazz and some elegant people, and y'all got these, low budget ratchets up here shaking behind. Okay. So people really start to say, okay, this is really kind of declining a little bit, getting a little ghetto. All right. So then in 2020, some anonymous Black woman is what they're saying. They said anonymous Black female. That's the term that they use. I guess complained of sexual harassment within the workplace, bullying, and pay indiscrepancies and things like that. Now, y'all got to remember 2020, that was kind of like the height of Me Too. So I don't know if this particular person jumped on that, and Richie Lou stepped down as the CEO. Now, they said that there were no, bad things found. All the allegations were unfounded. That's what was said, right? But nevertheless, he stepped down, and then he appointed a woman by the name of Caroline Wanga as CEO, and that's who's the CEO now. And she is Kenyan, okay? Now, again, this magazine was supposed to be for what they say African-American women, Black American women, but, it's purchased by 2 people from the continent, and then it was owned by a white publication, not really Black American owned at all, right? And so then when you see something like this here, them post stuff like this, it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Because again, this used to be very classy, something our grandmothers and our mothers would read, and they're doing stuff like this. And so again, I start to think like, okay, we've already known that the old Black media is not for us, but what are you really trying to do here? Like, what about this is positive? She trying to get her lick back because whatever they got going on, and I don't care, right? I don't care what they have going on, but why should we be invested in that as Black people? With all the things that we got going on in the Black community, this doesn't speak of elegance. This doesn't speak of, I mean, it speaks of being divisive. Oh, girl, you got to get him back, and I don't care what Cardi B and Stephon got going on. Sound like he might be in a little bit of hot trouble too, because when he was on this yacht or whatever it is with her, he was seen maybe with some things he shouldn't have been seen with. And so the NFL, they're investigating and all kind of crazy stuff or whatever. But what really is their agenda here? Because back in the day, again, when this was all Black owned, we felt the love, right? Jet Magazine, you saw Beauty of the Week, and they had the little bikinis on, but nothing really trashy or anything like that. A lot of the articles were, like I said, thought-provoking, talked about Black, American culture and things like that. But now it's just, I don't know. And I honestly can't even tell you the last time I cracked open an Essence magazine, especially after I heard that it was owned now by somebody who may not have any, but do not have any ties to us as Black Americans. And so, of course, regardless of whether they're from the continent or they're white or whatever, what do they know about us? You know what I mean? What do they actually know about us? It's going to be their interpretation of what they think Black people are. And we know that Cardi B is what? She's Dominican or something like that. So she's not, Black American, anything like that. But Essence used to be Black. And as we see Black media, the old Black media, they mean Black people, Black Americans, no earthly good at all. A lot of times they shilling for the Democrats, keeping us angry or divided or in our lower desires. Because as y'all see, I had to cover Cardi B's butt, and she didn't hide it, but I had to hide it, right? But they posted it. Cardi B is a woman with 3 children. From what I understand, he just had a baby that's 2 months old or something like that. And it's like, are these two people really would they really be the example? And think about it, 1970. I wasn't there yet. I was born in 1971. But is this something that those 4 gentlemen would have talked about in the magazine back then? I don't think they would have, because back then the focus really was still kind of on the Black family unit and things like that. But this here is degeneracy. So I want to get you guys' intake on that. Hopefully I've given you enough information. I'm going to take Cardi B and Homeboy down. So let's see what you guys have to say about this. Oh, I seen a long time no see on here. Let's see. And Mike says he's with the New England Patriots. Yeah, from what I understand, he's in a whole bunch of trouble here and there. He kind of stays in trouble. And now he's hanging out with Cardi B for whatever reason, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't really care about them as much, but just the optics of it all is like, come on. Let's see. Vaughn, how you doing? Long time no see. I hope that you are doing well. RLI, how you doing? Says Essence, you used to be respectable magazine. They showed the classy, upstanding side of Black America. What happened to them? Exactly. It's degeneracy. And as I said, even with the Essence Jazz Festival, a lot of people are like, I'm not coming back here. Because back in the day, it was classy. But now it's assy. DB Walker, how you doing? Says, thanks. We love you. Keep up the good work. Well, I love you too. Brother Reggie, how you doing? Says, from classy to trashy. Yes. And it's like, why? We know why. They got to keep us in our lower desires, right? Thinking, trashy, because everybody is involved. And think about Johnson & Johnson, the publication back in the day. They actually were the producers of the How to Sell to the Negro Market. I don't know if you guys knew that, but they said, okay, white America, we'll go ahead and make this How to Sell to the Negro Market, basically telling white people, I know you don't really like Black people much, but they got money. So this is how you sell to them. That was a Black publication that put that together, right? So, yeah. All right, it says Essence in the past was always about family and class. Yeah. Again, they got a Kenyan woman, and no shade to anybody from Kenya, and Richie Lou is Liberian. Okay. So again, And I don't know if we could even call it black, a Black American publication, African American. That's what they called it back in the day, because it's not really owned and operated by Black Americans. It's by people who maybe have an interpretation of what that looks like. But again, Cardi B is not even from our community, and it's not even really me saying that. She said that. She said that a couple months ago. She was on Twitter or somewhere saying how proud she was of herself and the things that she's amassed. She's as a Caribbean woman. She says, being from the Caribbean, but she cosplays as a Black American, and not saying that the stuff she does is example of a Black American woman, but that's kind of what she cosplays as, if you will. But then she turns around and pays homage to her Caribbean roots after she's made so much money off of cosplaying, being a Black American. But for me, I think Richie Lou and them, people from the continent, maybe it's just their interpretation of what Black American is. I can't call it. I don't know. Sunlight, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Michelle, what's going on with you? Yeah, my day is going well. I've been up very early because I'm trying to prepare. Got a lot of things to do before I actually leave here again. So, Daryl, how you doing? Says Diggs better be careful. One of her former victims might show up one day. I don't know. He seems to really like her. I guess I don't know. Not really too much involved into the relationship. I just kind of saw it and thought, wow, out of all the things Essence could talk about, you're talking about this woman with 3 children who's not divorced yet, laid up on a boat, damn near naked with, another man or whatever. And then y'all talking about she getting some get back on Offset. It's like, tell us how you feel about Black men. I don't know all about Cardi B and Offset. Sure, he's done a lot of horrible things to her. She's probably done something to him, but why get in the middle of that as it used to be classy magazine? See, again, a lot of these Black publications, they want to keep Black people here, in the gutter. Back in the day, they elevated our thought process. We were, proud to be Black. We can open up these publications and say, hey, I'm proud to be Black. I wouldn't be proud to claim Essence Magazine, not promoting that kind of stuff, but I'm 54, so maybe I'm speaking, above my head. I don't know. Yes, Kenyan. Yeah, that's the word I don't like, but they are from the motherland. Soto, how you doing? That speaks more like hoochie mama. What? Roddy, he says, it's sad everything we have ever owned culturally in America gets sold. Yeah, admittedly, the magazine was created in 1970, and I think one of the original founders recently died. He was 92 or something like that. So yeah, oftentimes they sell it to other people and it gets watered down. Again, BET is a good case in point. I remember BET back in the day, and some of the stuff, I don't watch BET now. I don't even have the ability to, but even some of the stuff that was a little bit on the degenerate side, was it BET After Dark? It was like really after dark, right? Like you have to be up really late to watch some of the salacious stuff. But it seems like it was okay, when it was Black owned. But then, of course, the folks get a hold of it and they, put stuff on there to keep us. MC Fact, how you doing? Says, don't people from the motherland own Ebony and Essence Magazine? I don't know if they own Ebony. They might. They definitely own Essence. Definitely. And again, the owner, who was a CEO, had to step down under some, allegations, and then they put a Kenyan woman at the helm. So she's at the helm now. So yeah. Roddy says everybody knows to keep Black folks in your lower nature because spiritually we are too powerful. Yeah, they got to keep us. Ooh, Cardi B, she getting her leg back. Ooh, she better get like. Why do we care? Like I said, my grandmother. Both of them, right? My dad's mom was born in 1919. My mom's mom in 1927, right? They would read those magazines as well. My mom was born in 1949. I remember her having them. Like I said, I'm 54, born in 71. So at some point in time in my life, I bought a few Essence magazines, and I don't remember the degeneracy. Again, I haven't read one in a while, so I don't know if they put that kind of stuff in there, but I'm like, if you put this on your social media, you probably talk like that as well, and big up degenerate behavior. you know. Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? Hope you're doing well today. Didn't see you yesterday. Carrie, he says they put it before our eyes and we let it affect our character. Yeah, when we should just shun it and say, no, you can't tell us anything. Don't talk to us about politics, religion, relationships, nothing. Okay. We don't want to hear that from you anymore, which is why new black media is very important. Uh, yo, folks, how you doing? It says the Chicago Defender. Is that black owned? If not, was it black owned? I know what it is, but is was that black owned? Is it black owned? Do tell. Daryl says the question. No one is asking. Cardi B and company are drugging and robbing men back in the day. Will she get the Cosby or Diddy treatment? No, she's not. I mean, and I don't know. I kind of know why, but well, for one, she's a woman. And she's not really a black woman, right? She says she is, but then she said the other day, I'm Caribbean. Now, I know they got, obviously the black in the Caribbean, but she's not black American, if that makes any sense. So she probably won't. Them folks, they love her and all her ratchetness. They pay her a lot of money to do it, Quebec, how you doing? Says black women must stop supporting Cardi, Meg, Gorilla, etc. Stop it. Yeah, and again, some of their music is okay, but the degeneracy is not. I often think if it were up to them, I don't think they would act like that. I think them folks got them acting like that. The raunchier, the ratcheted, the better, that's what I think. They don't really want any decent black women out there, because the decent black women, you don't hear about them as much as you hear about your Megans, your Glorillas, and your Cardi. You don't hear about them as much, Thunder, how you doing? I didn't see you either yesterday, but I hope you're doing well. He says, I'm driving, so I won't be texting much, but I'm here. Yay. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? Says she just has had a lot of, what? She had a lot of black men in her, okay? Says that's the closest she's going to get to a black American nasty. You crazy. Gerard, how you doing? It says it's like they're trying to compete with the online black celebrity news sites. There you go. Because unfortunately, that's what gets the most attention. The gossip rags, talking below the belt and all that and in people's business. I don't follow blogs. I unfollowed the blogs a long time ago, and my timeline looks decent. I'm not wrapped up into what people are doing because I don't care about those people. They don't care about me. So what I'm gonna spend all day, they this and they that, they doing this and this. I don't care, And the blogs, they're very messy. They get paid to do that. But you're right. A lot of these publications actually are kind of going more to the tabloid style because that's where the attention of people are now is tabloid mentality. They want the dirt. Daryl said, she said she was in an interracial relationship with Offset. Interracials. There you go. So what is she, right? Because I know she has said once before, she's black. She's a black woman, but it's like you kind of go back and forth with that, right? And Beverly says, didn't Cardi B call black women roaches? So yes, she did. But and I just like to be fair when I report things. It was out of context. She was actually going back and forth with people. So she didn't call black women roaches. She was talking to certain black women who were going back and forth with her. And somehow that got turned and she was talking, said black women are roaches. But that's not what she said. And I just want to be fair. I don't want to, further misinformation on Cardi. She did say that to black women, but not black women are roaches, if that makes any sense. Let's see. Roger says, this is sad. I grew up with Essence. The articles were relevant to the community. They also focused on black women's health. Yep. Was a great family magazine. Went downhill after Susan Taylor left. Yeah, she sure was there for a very long time. Was she like the editor-in-chief, So yeah, a lot of it did. And I don't suppose Cardi B being laid up with, this man and whoever else she's with is very healthy for black women. Michelle says, we're too friendly and welcoming to those who are not true black Americans. Yeah. And with that, especially if you're taking over the helm of a publication that used to be for black women in America, you should do it justice if you're going to do it. But you're going to, just flip it and just do whatever. You don't have to give your money to that. And you're right. We don't have to support it. We don't have to give our money to it at all. And let's see, Buckhorse, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Yes, indeed. Michelle says the Shade Room is owned by yes. I never followed the Shade Room at all. Never. I don't remember her name, but she's Nigerian. Yes. Says an African lady, and I hate the Shade Room. She's in the pockets of Democrats. She sure is. They invited her to the White House. They being Biden and them. They and Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked was like, so you inviting gossip rags to the White House as black media? Is that what you guys think we are? Okay. But you say, let's see where to go. Is she so she doesn't care what she pushes concerning the black community? Yeah. And it's funny in mentioning it. Cardi B actually called her out, and I don't think they talk about Cardi B much anymore. But Cardi B called her out, called her all kind of names and stuff, right? But yeah, and I can't remember her name, but yeah, she's been called to the carpet a lot behind some of the narratives she pushed in regards to the black community. And as I heard somebody else say, why does she ever talk about Nigerians? You know, that's her culture. Why not talk about the dirt and all the grime that Nigerians are doing? Why are you so focused on Black American culture and talking and gossiping about us? You know, but people sign up for it. They show up for it. So you can't really blame her, right? She's making money. King Noble, how you doing? Says, good day, Demetri. BET started going downhill in 2021. Yeah, and that's probably right around the time when they sold it to, I think Paramount owns it now. I don't know who owned it then, but Paramount owns it now. And you know who owns Paramount, right? As Edgy, how you doing? He says, if you present yourself 54, you're going to look 54. And if you present yourself 34, you're going to look 34. Everything's in a state of mind and well-being. Yeah, you're right. You know why I always tell my age? Because I know a lot of women who didn't like to tell their age. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. Like, I could tell you roughly around 60. You know, or a lady never tells their age. It's like, really? Okay. So I don't mind, you know. I don't have anything to hide. Buckhorse says Trump going to get them bastards out. And well, I wouldn't call him that, but yeah, he's working on it. Yo, folks, she says yes, Chicago black newspaper. Okay, so still black owned. There's still a few black owned newspapers in the United States, but not as many as it used to be. Brother Reggie. Yeah, I get it. A lot of the music is it's degeneracy. It really is. You know, even if you're listening to the radio and it's like they bleep, 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 bleep. It's like, why even play the song? You know? Jesus. Michelle says they're grown. They can make a decision not to do that. That is true. Lady Diana says, talking with my daughter because I had not been interested in BET Essence life in 24 years. Yeah, like I said, I don't watch BET, don't have it on my TV or anything like that. It's filth, right? Dano, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Jonell, what's going on with you? Hope you're having a fabulous day. As Edgy says, back in Germany, I used to purchase almost every edition of Ebony. Yes, most people did, right? Had a coffee table full of Ebony, Essence, and Jet magazine, you know. Not so much. Daryl, how you doing? So this is because American blacks allow other groups to take everything from us that is good and trash it, do for self. You're absolutely right. We have to gatekeep our stuff, you know. But Richie Lou Dennis, that's the Liberian guy that owns Essence now. I guess he had the money in the capital. He owned, was it Shea Moisture or something like that? He owned already. And so I guess he had the money to purchase Essence, and he's turned it into what we see now, you know, something that we as Black Americans aren't really proud of and really don't recognize, you know, because it's like, that's not who we are, you know. Michelle says, I did the same. You also say, I do miss the Inquirer. They exposed everyone back in the day. So they say, right? But then if you read it, it was kind of worded to where they couldn't be sued because they really didn't know for sure. Somebody told them, I heard Elizabeth Taylor, you know, and then they heard it from somebody who maybe heard it from somebody's cat or something, I don't know, and then they printed it up. Oh, a source tells us, right? So it's not like they're stating it as facts. They're saying a source told us, but it was entertaining nevertheless, I guess. Sherry says she has said a lot of bad things about Black American women. She really doesn't like us like that. Yeah, you're probably right. Again, I don't know Cardi at all. William, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Oh, no worries, Beverly. Yeah, because I've seen that whole roach comment and I actually looked into it. And it's not that she called Black women roaches. She was talking to those Black women that she was, I think it was a Twitter beef or something going on. Brother Reggie says, I wonder if Meg knows the definition of stallion is a male horse that has not been castrated, especially one used for breeding. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people remind her of what a stallion is, but she said she actually got that name because when she was a kid, she says a lot of grown men would say, oh, she gonna be a stallion when she grows up. She, basically sexualizing a little kid, saying she gonna be bad, right? So she said that's why she went with it, because men would say, oh, she gonna be a stallion when she grow up. So not really coming from a good place, right? Armageddon, how you doing? Thank you. James, what's going on with you? Thank you so much. I'll take all of them. Roddy says popping balloons is low energy and not community building. Yes, I've seen snippets of the show and it's like, what are we doing? It's called Pop the Balloon or Find Love or something like that. I don't know. They're trying to find love, but it's like, are y'all really? Look how some of these people are dressed on there, some of the things that they say. And it's just like, it's entertainment. Are you really trying to find love in that environment? Come on. A lot of people just showing up just to be, seen on at YouTube, I guess. I don't know. LaShondra, how you doing? Quebec says, no one is forcing Meg and Sexy Red to act the way they do. I do not accept excuses. No, they could say no, but I'm just saying from a point of view, I don't know how much of a 304, and I'll clean that up, 304 they really want to be. We know for a fact that they push degeneracy on those artists. You're sexy, but we really need you to, say and do this. Even with the male artists, a lot of those male artists aren't trying to do drill music and talking about, all of that. They have them do that. That's what they sell to our community. Listen, I've been around, not from the inception of hip hop. That was a little bit before my time, but when it really became like mainstream, started to become something in the early 80s and stuff, I was there for that, and music, we're talking about music in general, the salacious stuff, your Millie Jackson and stuff. You have to go get that in the paper bag and all that. And that's what our mamas might have listened to, but we didn't know they were listening to it, right? They didn't play that stuff on the radio. But then I was also around when rap became really conscious. Not that it was bad before it became conscious, but people, and I say black people, black youth, people who were listening to that music, we started to wake up. Oh, I'm a queen. Oh, he's a king. We are something. It was like the resurgence of I'm black and I'm proud, like from James Brown and, Curtis Mayfield and all them in the 60s, right? We started to get that again in the late 80s and the 90s, who were conscious. And then somewhere in between there, right then you had NWA, and then music became not conscious anymore. And then you have what we have now. Case in point is they didn't want us to wake up. They didn't want us to be conscious. They wanted us to be, popping it and, and thinking like that. So I say that I think most of them probably wouldn't be as raunchy or destructive in their music as they are unless they were told to do that. And we know that's a fact. That's what I'm saying. They have a choice. They can say, no, I don't want to do that. And they'll say, okay, well, there's the door, and they'll get blackballed. And then they'll have to go find another career, right? And I'm not saying I would choose that, but a lot of them do. Like, this is my dream. I worked hard to be a rapper, so I'm not going to just walk off and leave these millions of dollars on the table. I'll do it, So, as Eddie says, a calendar is a tool used to speed up human aging mentally, which pushes up your physical degradation. He says, that is why I don't follow the Roman calendar nor celebrate a birthday. Okay, well, then I'm 21. William says, Lettucey is out with new music. Yeah, so It'll be hard for us to know that unless we kind of know that, because they don't push Lettucey, or any other neo soul artists or anything like that. They push your Glorillas and things. Michelle says, my daughter went to a local bookstore and they had stacks of old Ebony and Essence magazines. She bought a lot of them. My daughter is 25 and has an old spirit about her. Yes, indeed. My daughter's an old spirit too. Mad Dog, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Carlos, hey baby, says, I'm 51, baby, and loving it. Yeah, me too. I was telling somebody this earlier, so I don't mind getting old. I really don't. It's honestly a blessing. We got a little bit of wrinkles here and there, but you know what? We still good. I don't know. Maybe when I was younger, I thought getting old was like, but now that I'm getting old, I'm like, yeah, I kind of dig this because you're wiser, and you don't put up with no mess. Thank you, Quebec. I appreciate that. And thank you, Buckhorse. And Carrie says, yes, they can make the decision, but they have been programmed from a baby. Yes, indeed. Tracy says, I'm late, but you're here. As Edgy says, I think they forced the owner BT to sell his business. They don't want to see Black wealth. The music catalogs of Black artists suffer, them folks stealing them. Yeah. Or they tie them up in some nonsense, right? Because they want their music. R.I.P. to Prince. I remember the day he died. It was a bad day for a lot of people, when Prince died. And a lot of us just really failed to believe that he just, accidentally took a little bit too much of whatever it was. A lot of us believe that something happened to him on purpose, right? So, yeah. All right, let me skip down because I see him a little bit behind. Damon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Tracy says, are y'all talking about Cardi with the roach thing? Says that wasn't on Instagram. Age also called herself a roach. I started Gopher. He says, because my daughter was Cardi B and my daughter is the same age. So you said you basically saw the conversation as well. You said you started to follow her. Is that what you meant? Because it says Gopher, but you start to follow her. Is that what you mean? Yeah, I figured there was some errors in there. It's like a gopher. Carmen, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. James, he says, I love Barry White and his Love Unlimited Orchestra. We know. Al Buckhurst says, the Ghetto Boys in here, NWA in here. Okay, those are your groups. Tracy says, my first rap album was Curtis Blow, and these are the breaks. Yes. Curtis Blow actually was on the Breakfast Club with Chuck D. Not too long ago. Very insightful interview. He talked about a lot of history and knowledge and things like that, things that a lot of people didn't really know. Yeah, Damon, Marvin Gaye, even Marvin Gaye with Sexual Healing. That was, for that time, kind of salacious, but it wasn't over the top. He still had some they were kind of innuendos. It wasn't just like, out with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, NWA, I know what that means. Yeah, X-Clan. Hey, Harley, how you doing? X-Clan. That was when music was becoming conscious, right? And Buckhorst, Tupac, Biggie, we know that Tupac was conscious, but there was some music that he had that wasn't conscious, right? And I think that's where them folks wanted him to be. And then, of course, when he wanted to go back to, because he was raised in consciousness, a lot of people think that's when the folks is like, yeah, okay, you really, because people love Tupac and follow him, you're really waking people up, so we can't have that, Yep, Nas, absolutely, Mike. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Says, hi, Demetra. I have some South Carolina history for Atlantic Beach. Have been Black owned since 1934, Jim Crow South, and still there. Oceanfront property near Myrtle Beach. White people have been trying to take it over. Oh yeah, and they will if they let them. They'll take it over. They want that beachfront property because again, I'm telling you, you already know. South Carolina, they didn't want that. They considered that marshland, right? Ugh. We don't want that. So after the Civil War, Black Americans went and bought the land, and now all of a sudden they're like, that looks like beachfront property to me because we went and cultivated and things, and now they want to come take it over after they didn't want it. It was not desirable land back then. Rod says we got to stop subsidizing ratchet music, media, and entertainment. Them folks are pushing that crap to us like it's crack cocaine and has the same effect on us. You ain't lying. You are not lying, especially if you're not in the mind of your children and they're listening to that stuff all day. Yeah, they think that's who they should be. King Noble says, I love rapper Rhapsody so much. Yeah, she doesn't get a lot of playtime either. Says she's very conscious, is not out here twerking and dressing 3/4 naked. Yeah, but she don't get a lot of play either. You have to find Rhapsody, because you're right. She has her clothes on. Brother Reggie says, the only time I enjoy watching Cardi was when that teleprompter went out at Kamami's event. You crazy. We saw she really can read like that, right? Yep. Wu-Tang. Alabama Breeze, how you doing? Says, I don't call it getting old. I call it getting wiser. Yes, I think of it that way too, getting wiser. James says, Demetri, one day we're going to slow dance together to a very slow Love Unlimited orchestra song. I cannot wait. I'm a good dancer too. Tracy says, I don't do the Breakfast Club. I can't stand none of them. Yeah, sometimes if I'm in a car in the morning, I'll listen to the Breakfast Club when they have different interviews. And I just happened to see that he and Chuck D were on the Breakfast Club. And it was a really good interview, a lot of history involved there. Poor righteous teachers. Yeah, the conscious movement. Where is that at anymore? I mean, there's some, but you'd have to really go digging for them, right? Them folks, they squash that out. Oh, they talk about they don't need material things and, to rise above the fray. Let's elevate our thinking. Oh, they talking like that? Oh, no, we can't have it. Let's bring out some degeneracy here. Come on. And we fell for it when we should have said, no, we're good. Thank you. We're good. When they tried to censor 2 Live Crew, that was Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, the vice president under Clinton. That was his wife. And she's the reason for the parental advisory sticker. She tried to have them locked up and all kind of stuff because of their music. See, it was fine when they was pumping it to us, but then when their children, they started hearing them, say, me so honey in their bedrooms, they were, what's this? Oh, that's the 2 Live Crew, Mom. And they didn't want that, when it started to reach suburbia. But when it was in our neighborhoods, it was good. It wasn't, but they thought so, right? Soto says, you make a lot of sense. Since the public enemies of hip-hop was pushed out because of songs like Self-Destruction, and the industry, CIA, pushed the school to prison pipeline to corporations. Absolutely. Public Enemy was my first concert ever that I went to. My siblings and I, my dad was an FOI, he still is, but FOI at the time, and he was on post, and we got tickets and got to go backstage, and it was, exciting time. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Tracy says they didn't want it because they didn't want to do the work. Yep. Public Enemy. Yep. Mike Nice, Fight the Power. Yeah. They didn't want us doing that. They was like, oh, they taking them seriously. Yeah, we got to squash that. Yeah, X-Clan for sure, right? James, thank you so much for the super sticker. Love and appreciate you for that. Thank you. Van Glorious, Brother Reggie, Van Glorious. Absolutely. As Eddie says, why them folks don't focus on their own shows and leave Black shows alone? Because it's, unfortunately, Black people, we watch TV the most. We are the number one TV watcher. So they know there's money in us watching television because there's advertisers. When you're watching TV, the commercials, and they can sell to us, so that's why they're interested in it. And they're also interested in it keeping us mentally dead, to keep us the walking dead. That's why your Tyler Perry's, he's a billionaire off of selling nonsense and creating nonsense for Black people, and we watch it. We shouldn't, but we do. See, when we start demanding better content, then they'll start doing that. And we start saying, we're not watching that. I'm watching nothing Tyler Perry's got. He's got 2 men bent over. And no. Sell that to them people. I don't know. Have you ever seen a white show? Or I never watched Friends. I've never watched an episode of Friends. But do y'all ever remember seeing any of them having the dudes bent over and, doing the most? Have you ever seen any white shows selling that stuff to their people? They sell that to us though. Like that's normal. Like we should want to see that. So the minute we start saying, no, I ain't gonna watch it, then they'll stop doing it, and Tyler Perry, he's about that life. He's like, oh, the nastier the content, the better, So yeah. King Noble says Public Enemy, Wu-Tang, Outkast, and Andre 3000 says I'm not even gonna make rap no more. I just don't feel it. You know, he's probably like, where would I fit in at this point? I'd have to lower my standards, or you know, how would I fit in? So he's gone on to playing the flute and stuff, which I love that album, by the way. You say the Roots, Nas, Tupac, Kendrick, Lupe Fiasco, Scarface, Ice Cube, Common, DMX, all goats. Yes, indeed. Geechee Dan Buford, what's going on? Says De La Soul from the Soul Black Medallion, no gold. Yep. De La Soul, I mean, huge in the 90s. To me, I mean, they were kind of mainstream. Not I'll say mainstream, they were popular, but still, you know, very underrated, you know. As Edgy, thank you so much for the super sticker. Love and appreciate you for that. What was I gonna say? It'll come back to me. MC Fat says Run DMC is tricky. Yeah, that was fun music back then. I remember when Run DMC came out, My Adidas and all that. That music was fun. You could dance to it. It was fun. But this stuff now, let's see. T Austin says Dead Prez. Yep. Dead Presidents were pretty good conscious rap group. Yeah, very underrated as well. I mean, they should be mainstream, but they're not. Alabama Reed says KMD. Don't need no man. Stop telling me I do. How you doing? As Eddie says, I had this 2 Live Crew big poster on my wall with this crisp with this crisp black booty. So you had that poster, okay? Yes, Damon says Schoolie D. I'm black enough. I'm black enough for you. Okay. Tracy says there are a lot of messages in these TV shows. If one knows how to listen, yeah, you have to learn how to read between the lines. Yes, King Noble, Tyler Perry is a bozo, but he's a billionaire because of it, right? Life Alliance Group, how you doing? Long time no see. Says 2 Live Crew, Slick Rick, Peter, Shy D Jones, MC Shy D, and Rifa Man. Hope I said that right. Says to hell with Tyler Perry. Nicole, how you doing? Thank you so much for that. Says our independent stations and labels are gone. Yeah, they've been sold off, and they're like, I think black people like this, you know, and then they give us the worst content ever. Yeah, Life Alliance, we all showing our age. We're showing our age here, but that's okay. We grew up when the stuff was good, you know. C Penta, how you doing? He says, I haven't watched Tyler Perry movies in years. I watched it 6888 with Kerry Washington. That was a good movie. But people always say, you got to watch this. And I say, every time I watch something Tyler Perry, I never finish it. I finished that. The 6888 was good. I think probably because there are other people in it. But I never finished it because I'm like, this is disgusting. Like the one of the shows he had, Beauty in the Black. People say, oh, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. So me and my daughter watched like 3 episodes and I said no. We both said no. Because that was the scene where he literally had, and I kid you not, I'm going to try to clean this up as much as I can. Y'all know Debbie Morgan, right? Debbie Morgan was from All My Children, her and Jesse and Angie. You know, if your mama watched All My Children, you know. Anyway, Debbie Morgan, I think, is like 70, give or take. So she's playing a character and she's driving up to her son's house and they got all this money, right? And so the son, he's in this house with these big giant glass windows. She pulls up in his driveway and the glass windows are open and he's literally got another brother bent over, both of them butt naked, bent over, doing what you would do if you have somebody that, and she's, you know, I don't know, she honked the horn or knocked on the window. Hey, knock that off. And I'm like, Tyler Perry, Debbie Morgan is a veteran actress. I don't know why she would do it, but why would you write something like that for her? And why would you write such degeneracy? Now, my daughter, she says Tyler Perry is living out his fantasies. She's like, he's trying to tell us something. It was the worst. It was something you would see in a gay porn, I guess, if that's what they do in there, right? It was gross. So I'm like, I'm good. Thank you. You'll never get me again. I don't care if you say Jesus and Muhammad was in a Tyler Perry production. I would not watch. You said Mace, okay. Brother Reggie said, salute to the rap God, Andre 3000, but he need to get rid of that kazoo. I don't hate it. The New Blue Sun. I love the album. It's very refreshing. It really is. I like it, you know. But he's like, I'm just not inspired. So, you're gonna get this flute. James says, I do not watch or listen to any trash entertainment. I listen to a little bit, but not much. I try to not do that as much. You know, life is a balance, right? 6888 is about it's a true story about the black women. They were in the army in, like, I think World War II, and the mail system was so messed up. The troops weren't getting their mail. It was just jacked up. And so the black women were enlisted, but they wouldn't want to find them nothing to do. They just kind of had them hanging around. And so finally they enlisted. That was the number of the group 6888. They enlisted them to go tackle all of the mail was just impossible. It's a true story. To tackle all this mail and get it out to the right people was just piles and piles of just mail. Some of them they couldn't even read because it was, out in the field. There was blood on. It was just a lot. And they found every piece of mail. They found the person that it was supposed to go to. They sent them out. They didn't think they were going to get it done, which is why they had them do it so the black women would fail. And they got it done, I think, in less than 6 months. And so it was historical that they did that. But it was a really good movie. I cried a couple of times. But I will say, true to Tyler Perry's nature, he put a white man love interest in there with a black woman. And the true life character says, we weren't together, but whatever. I knew the man, but we weren't together. But Tyler put them together. So, yeah. All right, let's see who else came on here because I'm about to get out of here. Michelle M., how you doing? Says, yes, I remember them. G talking about Jesse and Angie. Yes, indeed. Mr. South Carolina says, a female group sequence featuring Angie Stone from Columbia, South Carolina. Yes, R.I.P. to Angie Stone. That was devastating. It really was. Tracy says, another dude. No surprise. That's what made me not watch Ruthless anymore. Yeah, it was that scene. Brother Reddy says, yeah, I never seen the Tyler Perry player movie. I'm good on that. You know what? Oddly enough, the plays aren't bad. The Medea plays, they're not bad. Yeah, he's got a wig and a dress on, but there's some life lessons. But this stuff he's trying to do on Netflix, no thank you. No thank you. I don't need to see nobody pushing peanut butter, okay? And I know that was probably a lot. King Shaw, how you doing? Says, Andy and Jesse was a perfect black couple. Yeah, my mom would love all my children. Yeah, Tracy, my daughter thinks the same thing, that Tyler is trying to tell us something. Michelle says, Tyler Perry shows us in our worst light. I tried to support, but I can't do it. You're right. It is the worst because, again, I don't know. I've never seen any white shows where they're so blatantly gross, not what you would consider. I know Netflix is not prime time, but it kind of is because everybody has a Netflix account, I would think, right? Kenneth Jackson, Walaikum salam to you as well. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Soto says, your daughter is right, though. As an artist, you can write what you know. So basically saying you can write what you know about and you're into. Yeah, because it's like, what are you doing, man? And he says he writes all of that stuff. Quebec says this is trash. That is a trashy movie by Tyler. Yes, Debbie Morgan is beautiful, well-known actress. I'm sorry she accepted that role. Yeah, me too. I was just like, huh? Hey, Jesse, how you doing? I hated that for her. I wish that he would have wrote something else that, and Richard Lawrence, too. He's a veteran actor, and they got them. I don't know if they're siblings or maybe they're siblings in this. I didn't watch long enough. But you a mother effer and you a mother effer and you a B and you a. I'm like, these people in their 70s and you got them acting like the worst thing ever. It's crazy. I think they deserve better. And Damon says, Tyler got on his knees for Massa. I didn't do. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you. It's easy to do. I need to wash it. It's kind of hard now. Yes, Tracy says, so basically 6888 is the black women keeping the post office afloat without the post office. Yes, during the wartime. Really good movie. Really good. G-Mac, how you doing? Says Tyler Perry is still the only producer that make wholesome shows with a spiritual feel to it. I don't know. Maybe it was spiritual because the dude might have been saying, oh, God. I don't know. But I don't know how much spiritual that was. I mean, Beauty and the Black is about them. Basically, they're sex trafficking. They're sex traffickers. That's what they are. Like, no kidding. That's what they do. They traffic women to these, strip clubs and stuff. and they're dope dealers. It's degeneracy. But I guess that's what he thinks we like. The Informant Media, how you doing? The Average Logical Thinker says, not the white love interest. I love his plays as well. Yeah, the plays are okay. Yeah, but in the 6888, he had to appease them folks. Yeah. And MC Fat says, I don't think I ever seen Tyler Perry movies. Yeah, you ain't missing nothing. Almond Raw, how you doing? Says same left after civil rights. Okay. I said shame left after civil rights. Yeah. And a whole lot of other stuff. I know, Brother Reggie. I was trying to think of another word to say. Pushing peanut butter is kind of, I actually heard that from Training Day. Another movie I didn't like very well. Sunlight, did I say hello to you? If not, hello again. He says, tell us what movie he says, tell us what we've known for years. Am I missing something? So you're talking about black media? Yeah, no, we've known this for sure. Tracy says, Demetri, the gross white shows are overseas. I've seen them. Okay, yeah, maybe because I'm not really into them. Hey, Critical, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Well, thank you, and thank you for being here. Thank you for everything that you do. Mad Dog says, I personally don't care for Tyler Perry. Yeah, a lot of people really don't. He's shown his true colors. Life Alliance Group says, let's hit the like button, please, and thank you. I don't even know why I did that. Like, I'm going to take a nap or something. Not that kind of nap. So anyway, y'all, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. James says, God made the woman for the man. I'm going to leave it at that. Sunlight says, Tyler Perry been out the closet. Is he out the closet for real? Has he? Did he say he was? Because I've heard, but I don't know. It would make sense if he is. Because I can't even watch any movies that are not his with him in them without seeing Medea, because he gives like very feminine energy. So I don't know. It would jive. He was out the closet. Michelle says, whoever thought he was straight. I mean, I know he was running around with a woman for a while and don't they got a baby together? He's got like a daughter or something. So yeah, maybe he was cosplaying a straight man. I don't know. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if Tyler says it's Pride Month, by the way. It's Pride Month, and I got something I want to tell y'all. I wouldn't be like, oh, not that. That wouldn't be me. I would be like, oh, about time. I figured you had little rainbows on your drawers. I don't know. Let me get out of here if I get in trouble. Anyway, Tracy says, Demetri, he paid that woman. Yeah, listen, I don't know. My spidey senses tell me that he didn't. Hold on. Where's my my little simulator that I like to use here? Hold on. I probably really should go. Something tells me that he didn't to get the baby. Something tells me he, never mind. YouTuber Biani, I'm crazy. I need to go, right? I'm delirious. And I'm going to leave before I get in trouble. Anyway, David and I will be back here tomorrow. So you guys stay tuned for that. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Peace.